Girls hide behind the bed, do not dare to send a single voice, dressing, stealing and listening to people. Suddenly a handicraft asked him quickly. The reaction turns to another point where men threw handicrafts and did not find him. 4 of the perpetrators left the house without a person, picked up the head and opened the waiting list. Behind a woman's twofold, he shrinks his body, watching carefully the obstacles to human beings. Men's friends may be killed and their physical inactivity. On the other hand, the perpetrators are branded on the bed without the meaning to be taken. See only one man injured and abdominate, necessitating on the bed perpetrators who do not dare to go to hospital can only die quietly. As time passes, girls' mentality is becoming more and more horrific, and it must do everything. It is an opportunity to flee before him. Others were cleared on site, with only 2 remaining persons remaining in the house. Men migrating one package, unanticipated, and mobile phones have fallen short of girls. He saw the scene, sticking in the hands, a little outside mobile. Men also have access to the wounded first aid method, which is not perceived as a static move. He has extended wooden sticks, close to bags, built into large numbers he wants to steam, but the sound of friction transmitted by the floor compels him to stop water. Girls look at the men's place and then show courage. Men, however, are suddenly sitting. He had to do so, and he had to do so. A bag of hand-in-hand construction, suddenly on the bed, leaving his heart legacy. He then returned quickly to the backpack, while men came over, girls have come back. At this time, a murderer also came to a room, rushed, handheld, watching the male's position, and placing a police officer on the side. Telephone, however, in order to prevent old age, they intend to raise the bed. Some girls are being exposed to desperate end-of-life beds and are left to fruition. 2 persons were raised, but 3 seconds were followed by a strange return to the ground. Because a sister noted photographs on the computer, the woman owner of the house was Dr. A minute later, the woman owner, Shah, was taken into the room, extracted the jackets and allowed him to speak. Killings threatening him wounded. He walks on the bed and can only be taken on the light of what he said is being sent under the guise of a short message to the police. Follow up. He feels that all of today's traffic is on his own feet. But Shah appears to have taken note of the calm that has been created and deliberately dumped on the ground. Then we are next. In hindsight, the 2 do not give any voice after the event, and he has always been in favor of girls and sons, but this time, Shala places all hopes on girls. He saw the perpetrators on the side of the scene, giving one of them a chasm and hot water. Preparation of surgery. It has gradually become bright. What is not good at the very end of the eyes of both men and women, and it is very soon a simple bag to read back, and he is dragged to run. The old age is temporarily relieved of the pain of the wounds, and the tiny is only waiting for the next time. On the other hand, sons and mothers are tied to the bed. Father on the other hand, we are wearing throws. Shackled bandits have also helped him to assemble the lead, and he can only listen. 5 minutes later, he sits with 2 men cars, walking home, regulating older persons, such as affiliation, who are injured. Repeated small arms and light weapons have not been hurt, have turned over, and have just intended to flee. Here, a sister went. He rushed to return, created 2 bandits to sit together for chat, waiting for the accomplices in the bank return. They used the identity of the male bank manager to seize money, and the family also has the battered children. This was found on the ground by a sister. The bed shall be the bed. However, the axes do not mean that he will be left behind, and the tiny is done under the bed. Small rows, a clock, a pause, a man who does not take care of his or her place in the bed, and Ahe is in the process of calling, without any telephone. Awareness. In the minds of the United States, the penultimate of the penultimate, the sudden penultimate, the 2 were attracted by it, and the crane was flown from the bed to the bottom. There was no discovery of the outside, and it was finally possible to have a long-term course with his carpets. The next floor is intended to leave, but walk to the junction. A man who is strawed is hampered to come to the bedroom only on the internet and sees 2 men in the head. On the bed, a man who knows that he or she has not been killed has turned away and has sought to cut off his family on his hands. That it also heard the voices of men who went to the house. A sister also took note of the old throne, which was originally a wall, to find a mother. Silence health. A sister chewing's arms stealing with men. Men enter bedrooms, found 2 people on bed and tied to the bed. Small it was observed that only neighbors were subjected to tyranny, and that, in order to be successful, he could only kill. Very quickly, men shattered the ground without breathing. Small memories wishing to leave the window, who thinks men are a man's contaminated blood, are the first to catch up. Sounding of water flows, small media the air, stubborn, shattered by the death limb in the window, which is now in constant condition.